Welcome to The Explainer. All right, today we're getting into something that can honestly make or break any long-term relationship: conflict. It's something we all go through, but let's be real. Most of us never got a user manual for how to handle it constructively.
So, the lecture we're breaking down today kicks off with this really powerful metaphor. The idea is that unresolved stuff, it doesn't just go away. Nope, it just hangs there, like this constant tension, this weight in the room that everybody feels. It's that feeling in your gut that a storm's coming, and it's just a matter of when, not if.
So what if we've been looking at this all wrong? What if conflict isn't about trying to avoid the storm, but about building a relationship that's strong enough to actually handle it? That's the big idea we're going to unpack here. We're going to see conflict not as a sign of failure, but as this essential, even healthy process for growth. And we'll get into some real, practical tools to help you build a relationship that can truly weather any storm.
All right, so where do you even start? Well, the first key to solving a problem with someone else is, and this might sound a little backward, it starts by looking at yourself. It all begins with knowing you.
Yeah, nobody walks into an argument as a blank slate, right? We're all carrying our entire life story with us. Think about it. Your past relationships, your personality, the way your parents fought or didn't fight, all of it creates this sort of invisible software that's running in the background, telling us exactly how to react when things get heated.
And this is where it gets really interesting and kind of confusing. You ever wonder why people seem to end up in the same kind of unhealthy relationship over and over? The lecturer makes this brilliant point. It's not because we actually want the pain, it's because that whole dynamic, even if it's messed up, feels familiar. It feels like home. Our brains are literally wired to choose the devil we know over the angel we don't.
Okay, so once we've started to get a handle on our own baggage, the second big key is realizing our partner has their own, completely different operating system. It's such a basic truth, but one we totally forget in an argument. They are not you. They think differently, they feel differently, they handle conflict in a totally different way.
And she gives a perfect example from her own marriage. Get this. She needs to think things through internally, quietly, before she can talk about them. Her husband? He's the exact opposite. He has to talk out loud just to figure out what he's thinking. Now you can imagine how that went, right? A total disaster waiting to happen. He'd be throwing out half-baked ideas, and she'd hear them as his final absolute decision. See? The real fight wasn't about the topic at hand. It was about their totally clashing styles. The moment they figured that out and learned to respect it, well, that changed everything.
Okay, so we're all different. We've all got our baggage, so how in the world do we actually navigate disagreements? Well, that brings us to the toolkit. And here's the thing. The goal is not to stop fighting. That's unrealistic. The goal is to learn how to fight in a way that actually brings you closer.
And out of everything, all the advice, all the techniques, the speaker says it really comes down to one single, most important rule. If you can just get this one thing down, she says, it will completely transform every argument you have from here on out.
And here it is. Attack the problem, not the person. Remember, you are on the same team. That's it. That is the huge mindset shift. It's not you against your partner. It's you and your partner together against the problem. The second you start making it personal, attacking who they are, you've already lost. The mission is always to solve the problem, as a team.
Okay, but how do you actually do that, in the heat of the moment? Well, one of the best tools for this is something called the I message. It's a really simple but honestly profound change in how you speak that lets you share how you feel without immediately putting your partner on the defensive.
Just look at the difference here. It's huge. Saying, "You never listen to me," that's a direct attack. It's an accusation. And the only possible response is for them to get defensive, right? But what about, "I feel unheard when I'm speaking"? See the difference? That's about your feeling. It's your experience. No one can argue with how you feel. And it invites them to understand you, not to fight back. It shifts the whole conversation from blame to understanding.
All right, so we've got the keys. Know yourself, embrace differences. We've got the tools. Team up against the problem, use iMessages. So what happens when we put it all together? Well, that brings us to the big picture, a whole new way of looking at conflict itself.
The speaker uses that classic analogy of building a house, and it just works so well here. A relationship that constantly avoids conflict, that's a house built on sand. Sure, it might look fine for a while, but every little issue you sweep under the rug is just washing away the foundation. Eventually, a big wave hits, and the whole thing comes crashing down. But a relationship that faces conflict head-on, using these tools, that's a house built on solid rock. Every argument you get through, every issue you resolve, just makes that foundation stronger and more secure.
So this really brings it all home. Think of this as your cheat sheet for a healthy fight. 4 simple rules. Number 1, attack the problem, not the person. 2, use iMessages to talk about your feelings. 3, listen to actually understand them, not just to cook up your reply. And 4, practice forgiveness every single day. This is your roadmap from fighting each other to connecting with each other.
And really, this is the final, most important takeaway of the whole thing. Healthy conflict isn't a sign that your foundation is cracking. It is the repair work. Every single time you successfully work through a disagreement, you're reinforcing the whole structure. You're making your relationship stronger, more resilient, and way more prepared to handle whatever comes next.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought. It's a challenge, really. What's one small conflict, doesn't have to be a big deal, that you could try to handle differently this week? How can you take what could be just another argument and turn it into a chance to build something even stronger?